I guess even though we were free, we were still slaves in the mind.
Message!
What's going on, family? It's your guy Boro, the Lucky Libra here. And as you can see by the title, we're going to be getting into the Taurus Rising sign, alright? Now, without further ado, let's get right into it. Now, first of all, what is your rising sign? Your rising sign is the sign that's in your first house, alright? The reason we throw it in the big three with your sun, moon, and your rising is because this is the first house deals with the self, you know, your personal issues. And we also see your life path based on the angles from the 4th, 7th, and 10th house, all right? And that's what we're going to continue to go over in the rising signs. This is how you break down the archetype of your rising signs, by seeing the square angles in the 4th and 10th house and seeing the opposition angle in the 7th house. And through these learning processes, aka squares and oppositions, these are all learning processes in our life. These are the paths your personality, your self energy from the first house is going to go through and going to have to learn, all right? Now, when you got Taurus in the first house, all right, first of all, you want to see where Venus is at, because Venus is your chart ruler, is the house lord of the first house, all right? So if you have Venus in the 6th house, the 6th house area, life frequency vibration, this is where your personality and personal issues are going to be the most active. This is where they're going to shine the brightest, all right? Everything relating to you on a personal level. So if it relates to you on a personal level, a person, place, or thing is going to fall there, all right? And that's just an example for you. Now, when you have Taurus in the first house, you know, this is fixed earth, all right? This is fixed earth here. So when you're talking about fixed earth, this is being secure, stable, stability, all right? Not really dealing with transforming too much, all right? Being grounded, all right? Making sense of something, all right? Not jumping to the next thing because it sounds or feels good, all right? How much practicality is involved with this plan or whatnot. So this is the energy that a person is dealing with personally, all right? Now, remember, the first house also deals with how you appear to be, but depending on your sun or moon, that's that's who you are. But you may not necessarily carry out all the actions that you may appear to be your rising, all right? So, you know, I'm a Capricorn rising, all right? Now, I'm also a Capricorn moon, but let's say I'm not a Capricorn moon. I'm a Capricorn rising, but my sun sign is Libra. So my sun sign and my rising angle, they're squaring. So my personality and my actions, my natural actions, which are two different things, all right, and how I see things personally, they're at a clash, okay? So I may appear to come off, you know, Capricorn earth. I may appear to come off practical, like I have common sense, like I take my time to make sense of things, I have patience. But that sun sign Libra, once you start seeing more of that, all right, then you're gonna see, you know, I may be a little bit go with the flowish. I may just be spontaneous and just doing things with others and not putting that much practical thought into things. You can see where the energies clash, all right? So depending on what type of harmonious or negative angles you got between your sun, moon, and your rising sign, will see if you really do appear to, you know, resonate with your rising sign on an action or feeling level. But regardless, whatever sign you got in the first house, this is going to be a lot of your natural personality and how you see things, and it deals with your spiritual path, period. All right, so with Taurus in the first house, this is you're personally, you like to be stable, all right? When you're dealing with people on a personal level, you know, you look at it as, you know, you can't deal with people that are too spontaneous. You can't deal with people that look like they have no stability in their life as a Taurus rising, all right? And you know, when you have the influence of Venus here, you can value, appreciate, and compromise and overdo it to the point where, you know, you overdo compromising with things that are not good for your personal issues. Or it could play out in ways where, you know, because Venus supports, so whatever you're into personally, Venus is going to support. But if you're into negative things, Venus is going to support that. Venus is going to bring support, period. So it's also important to know what house you have Venus is in. So as a Taurus rising, you want to always check, you know, what your mind is really creating desires or paying a lot of attention to on a personal level, because you're going to be feeding that. And that's overall how you're manifesting, period, the amount that you pay attention to something and put enough feeling, emotion, and vibration into it, but just, you know, in the sense of thinking about it on a personal level. For a Taurus rising, Venus is bringing that support. So if it's an insecurity in yourself that you pay attention to a lot, you know, a physical insecurity a lot in some type of way, Venus can come and support that and grow that to a point where, you know, you're more overwhelmed with something that's not even that serious, all right? Or support it in a situation where it brings more people, places, and things that start caring about something that wasn't even that serious, but now it bothers you more when it wasn't that serious, all right? So little funny situations like that could play out with Venus and with that Venus influence here as a Taurus rising, all right? But, you know, you guys go off of practicality off first rip. Whenever you have Earth in there, these are people that don't just budge quickly when something's brought to their attention. They gotta process it and see, does it make sense for me to move? Especially a Taurus though, because it's fixed Earth. It's about the fixed nature of what we're dealing with practically, all right? It's the tree that's grounded as hell, stern as hell, all right? And as a fixed sign, you're either gonna be negatively leaning on being a real stubborn person, or on a positive side, you know, being a consistent person, all right? Fixed signs are either one of the two, or a mixture of both, all right? So, you know, this is the type of energy you're dealing with personally. Now, when you go to the 4th house is in Leo. Okay, so in the home, all right, in the home environment, you know, they need some sense of entertainment and creativity and some type of art and some upbeat, you know, type of positive creative expression type of energy dealing with in the 4th house. My older brother's a Taurus rising. He's an Aries sun and moon, but he's a Taurus rising, and ever since I could remember, he always had a huge stack of DVDs and you know, entertainment system. Always had an Xbox, always had a game system. Always, I can't remember him without one. He had DVD players back when DVD players was a brand new thing, and it's like he always needed that entertainment system. He'll hide snacks and certain foods in the house, so when he come back from work or his day or whatever, he knows he can come back to his sense of entertainment and fun in the home. And that's important for a Taurus rising, because they take that with them. All right? And when you get to the 7th house, which is Scorpio, they need to learn how to relate, you know, that on a deeper level. Because say you've been brought up with this type of entertainment in the home, you know, having those type of wants catered to or whatever, you take that you take that with you personally, because the 4th house, is dealing with domestic issues, family matters and whatnot, but it's also dealing with the heart space and what's home in the heart. So it's also dealing with what's home to you, whether that's where you're physically most comfortable at, and lay your head at, but at the same time it's dealing with what makes you comfortable in the heart space. So with Leo there, that's what makes them comfortable in the heart space. So they don't have to be home necessarily. That they take that with their personality. So when you get to the 7th house, that's Scorpio, it's water here, it's fixed water. So Taurus rising need to learn how to have a deeper connection. All right, they need to learn that they can't just connect, you know, with giving things and an exchange of energies as far as physical things, or, you know, what you can do for somebody on a physical resource level, whatnot. You got to learn how to build a deeper connection, because you got fixed water here, which is the opposite end of that Taurus Scorpio opposite spectrum. So, you know, it can't just be so superficial. It can't just be for the look of the relationship. It can't just be for the security. You have to in this lifetime, that's going to be the opposition that you're going to have to deal with as a Taurus rising, learning how to build that deeper connection. And you have, and that's the thing, when we talk about the energies that's in these houses, the 1st house, 4th house, these are not just energies that, you know, you're pushing out. These are energies that you're going to experience as well. So in the with Scorpio in the 7th house, you can be the person, you know, taking advantage of somebody's resources for your own security as a Taurus rising, or you can experience that yourself if you're the type of Taurus rising that, you know, you're stable, right? You're able to find stability in your life, and people look at you as an example for stability. So people start leaning on you and taking advantage of you. You feel me? Then you got to show the bull, or you got to show them horns. it could play out that way. So understand these could be the influences that you're catching and the influences that you're pushing out when we're talking about the energies in the house. Okay, now the 10th house is Aquarius. All right, so the 10th house is dealing with how you rise to the status of something, your social status, all right? How you gained your spiritual travel and your wisdom and knowledge and whatnot, and took that to make a foundation, something that you could be known for, all right? But it's essentially how you also rise to the status of something, and not just career-wise or social status, but like to, you know, in a relationship, how you rise to the status of something, to a goal, how you rise to the status of it, or whatnot. So when you have Aquarius here, you know, a lot of Taurus risings like to use technology and you know, certain, you know, gadgets or whatnot to express themselves socially. They want these things to be seen as their appearance and whatnot, you know, in order to build connection or whatnot, or for people to view them in a certain status or whatnot. And this is why they get superficial, because you see how that builds from the 4th house and whatnot, from the 1st house, and now the 10th house. This is how they feel like they got to rise to a status in relationship, how they got to rise to a status on a popularity level, how they rise to a status credential wise, or in some type of thing that they want to get you know, elevated in. The Taurus rising got to understand to get on a deeper intellectual level. Excuse me. So in the 7th house, it was fixed water. So you got to learn to form a deeper emotional connection, all right, with somebody else. And you got to be able to learn how to relate to somebody with a deeper emotional connection, and it not just be on a practical surface level. And the 10th house is learning to make a deeper intellectual connection to rise to the status of something. And as a Taurus rising, you are dealing with the logic. It's earth, all right? So you're dealing with the logic and practicality. But in the 10th house, you can be, remember, it's still a square angle. Taurus and Aquarius square, it's still a square angle, so it's a learning process. So in this learning process, it can't just be surface level and Venetian energy into the nice things that taste good and look nice and whatnot, and trying to be secure in that comfortability. All right, it's about also learning, all right, to transform that, you know, because you got Uranus here, to transform that and get on a deeper intellectual level and learn how to relate that, relate stability to others, all right? Relate how to gain that stability, or be an example of stability for others, in order to rise to a status in a relationship, or rise to a status in, you know, whatever you're acquiring in your life. So because, you know, when Aquarius is fixed air, so it's the fixed thought, the fixed unique thought, the fixed thought that makes you an individual, the thought that's not so relatable to everybody else's thought, but it still wants to express and communicate it. All right, so this is what Taurus is gonna have to learn to relate that individuality to others, instead of just, you know, trying to always just stay secure in all different shapes and forms in their own personality and their own comfortability and whatnot. You got to go ahead and get a little transformative in that area of life. All right, so that pretty much wraps up the energy of you Taurus rising overall. These very you know, these people, you know, see business and see practicality in a sharp way. All right, they personally know how to look at the blueprint of things before they dive into it. All right, they know how to they know how to go about getting stability in their life. All right, they don't play with that. They know how to manage. Most Taurus rising know how to manage money very well too. That's another thing. Like my brother's like I told you, he a double Aries, Sun and Moon Aries. So he's all over the place. And you know, with that Taurus rising, I see he has certain traits with money that I know come from that. That's how he sees how to naturally, because your rising sign is things that you're naturally doing. Like you're more conscious of your sun, definitely more conscious of the things you do with your sun sign, because your sun sign is dealing with the things that you're consciously aware of. The moon sign is dealing with things that you're subconsciously aware of. So is your reactions, but sometimes you can react to things in a spur of the moment and then reflect on it and see it in that way too. When you're talking about your rising sign, this is your first house. This is just like your natural personality. So these are the things that you may be aware about the least when we talk about your sun, moon, and your rising. All right, these are natural energies people pick up on about you that you don't even know about yourself, because to you it's just things that you do subconsciously. You feel me? So, and the things that you're into. But in the last moon series, I read out some celebrities that were Taurus Risings. Alright, I mean, not Taurus Rising. I read out some celebrities for each moon sign video for some of those videos. So this is something I want to continue to do again. But, you know, I was doing it in the beginning of the video. So I'm going to do it in the end of the video because I feel like it kind of makes more sense that you get the energies of these placements. And then when you read the celebrities, then you can have a clearer picture of how it correlates from what you already know about the celebrity. So Taurus Risings, we got Martin Luther King. You see how stern he was personally about the things he was personally into, his morals and the way he saw about other people's personal issues. You see how stable he was about that. You see how he tried to make that deeper connection with others and relate to people in a deeper way. In that 7th house with Scorpio, like this get deep, y'all. You can't run from the energies of the stars. But you got Martin Luther King, you got Mariah Carey, Nikola Tesla, Halle Berry, Snoop Dogg, Conor McGregor, George Washington's head ass, Miley Cyrus, Queen Latifah, David Letterman, Jerry Seinfeld, Serena Williams, and David Beckham. Alright, so those are just some celebrities for you, some Taurus Risings. But y'all already know what it is. Go ahead, like, share, subscribe. It's your guy Boro, the Lucky Libra here. And that was the Taurus Rising for you. And we're going to be continuing this and picking it up with the Gemini Rising. Alright, so until then, I'm out of here. Peace.